Abaana abayizi mu masomero ga Uganda ne mu matendekero ga waggulu nkani yunivasite okwetooloola eggwanga lya Uganda bateeseeyo okwemulugunya kwabwe eri omukulembeze w'eggwanga Pulezidenti Yoweri Kaguta Museveni ne Minisita w'ebyenjigiriza Honorable Kataha JANET nga bwe bakolagana ne Kristo Muyingo ow'ebyenjigiriza bya waggulu okulaba nti bakendeezako ebisale ebya school fees abaana bwe babadde basasula kubanga abazadde baabwe bali mu byalo batudde tebalina kyakukola era nga fees nabo bali kwekunyakunya tebamanyi gye gigenda okuva era nga bakulembeddwamu omuyizi munaabwe abakulira organizing president Menya Erusaniya bagenze ne beemulugunya ku minisita wa bya agenda Labour and Social Development Mary Akororo era nga bamaze ne beemulugunya ne ku minisita agemagana ku bya science and technology and innovation mu ggwanga lya Uganda nga bagamba mbu tebalina kye balabyeko ku bo gye bali era nga Menya Erusaniya ne bayizi banne mu ggwanga lya Uganda basabye pulezidenti wa Uganda aleka abazadde baabwe batiisi bagende bakoleko businesses baabwe babeereko n'ekyokulya okusinga okubeera nga bali kufiira mu nju era nga tebamanyi nga ku makya bwe bunaakyera era nga kino kyali ebitundu 50 n'obutundutundu 4 omusolo ogusasulibwa buli muyizi muno mu ggwanga lya Uganda nga zonna zigenda ya gavumenti ate basabye babeereko babageri gye babakendeezaako especially ku misolo z'eggwanga ezigibwa ku mwana omusomi ng'ensi endala bwe zaakoze okulaba nti abaana basoma mu kaseera kano akazigizigi.
I am humbled and honored to come before the Republic of Uganda today, mindful and saddened of the pandemic of coronavirus, but also carrying with me the message of sympathy of the students and the parents of this nation to the government of Uganda. And on behalf of my fellow students in schools and universities, I convey this speech to the government of this nation. A greeting of peace to the government from our mothers and fathers across the nation. As the organizing president of the students' body, I recognize that the challenges of the present time include centuries of coexistence and cooperation, but also years of great tears and wars and conflicts in schools and universities of this nation. And I speak to this nation about the future of education after coronavirus and during this pandemic. The threat of coronavirus shall couple the academic and cultural hardships in which many students' race shall be denied and treated as proxies without regard to their own aspirations. Many schools shall go empty without pupils and students, and millions of parents shall completely give up with their children's education. However, as the Ugandan students across the nation, we come before this nation to take attention or the government's attention. The Minister of Education and Sports, Honorable Kataha JANET, Minister of Science and Technology, Professor Elioda tumwesigye, and Minister of Labour, Gender and Social Development, Honorable Mary Akororo, and to inform you that you are not defining your roles in your offices as expected and as we expected as students and parents across the nation. As the Ministry of Education, we are not contented with the criteria you are hiring to administer students' aspiration, especially across the universities and the institutions on this nation. Earlier on, different courses in the universities were shut down by the East African Committee, which left us as the students stranded of what to do. However, Honorable Kristo Muyingo, in charge of education for High Commission, together with Professor Elioda of National Council for Education, have not yet given any way forward to us as the students in line with such a negative contemplation and the negative stereotypes across the universities and homes of learning. And we come to ask, what shall you, as the minister, include in the letter of intent or memorandum of understanding to the national budget before the parliament about the universities and the schools and their own curriculum, which you have not yet given any personal visit since your time of office? Do you fear universities, or you don't have time for the students whom we assume you are getting in charge of? Furthermore, all your fellow ministers of education in other nations have scrapped off government tax on school fees to enable their children study in schools and universities during such moments of tension and tears. However, you, the government of this nation of Uganda, you are charging high and a lot of taxes on our school fees. The Uganda Revenue Authority implements 30% on every student's fees as tax and 15% for fuel, chalk, power, and food to the government schools, including 5.6% as the Uganda Gross Domestic Product, known as Gross GDP, alongside the 3.7 for school posts, giving a total of about 54.3% government tax per student, and the school directors are not comfortable and contented with this undulating and protonating school fees government taxation is, which has always bred into the doubling of school fees structures every after 2 years since 2014, after the remarks had been made by the Uganda Revenue Authority General Doris Akororo on 29th of January 2014, 15. And our parents are the ones suffering the humiliation of these school fees taxes. Banks and circles have confiscated every worldly possessions of our parents, including land and houses with signs and symbols reading bankers' property everywhere. As parents and students of the nation, we come before you, our government, since all our businesses are held at a standstill and shut down. We request you, Honorable Kataha Janet, to reduce these school fees taxes. As the Minister of Education and Sports, they are crippling our education. We request you, Honorable Kataha Janet, to reduce these school fees taxes. As the Minister of Education and Sports, they are crippling our education. Your predecessors of that office for the Minister of Education and Sports, the late Namirembe Bitamazire, tried to always listen, and she could effect the request of the students and mothers that relatively made students more calm in schools than it has been since the regime of Honorable Jessica Rupo to the present. As the students, we call upon the Parliament to explain to the nation, specifically to the students, what are the roles of the Ministry of Science and Technology and the Ministry of Gender, Labor and Social Development, currently headed by Honorable Elioda Tumwesigye and Honorable Mary Kororo, respectively, as we acknowledge no achievement yet seen from these ministries amidst the students' struggles for gender-based rights and scientific discoveries in schools and universities across the entire nation of Uganda. There is a lot of social rejection in your offices of national merit based on one's economic backgrounds and origins, commonly referred to as whose child are you, or in Uganda, mwana wani, toppling together with extra and high fees taxation levied on our school fees. But none of you has taken in the responsibility to address our issues on an open panoramic view. But also, as parents and children of Uganda, the government quarantine is leaving millions of us in lots of misery, suffering and vanishing and perishing from the earth to save other corona victims who are healing but afterwards dying also of famine too. So President Museven, please look into our situation and judge us as your children. Please let us go out and work to put something in our stomach than dying due to famine and hunger, like our sister nations across the world are doing, that have let their own citizens continue working and not die from their homes and families for hunger and famine. We also did not know that this calamity would occur, but the judgment of your decisions are worth not easy and good to such a poor and developing country. Continue reserving better the gathering areas like schools and worshipping homes, but let our poor mothers and fathers and children operate under supervised businesses to earn a living. Our hearts are bleeding before you and the sacred powers of the government. Listen to us, we are the children of this nation. One day, little students, girls and boys, shall live in a nation where they will not be judged by the color of their economy, but by the character of their content. A nation that is sincere and builds philosophy of her own children shall forever live and touch the intuition of the whole world. Do not treat our speech with enmity and hatred. We are the children of this nation and the students across different universities and societies and schools and mothers and parents and civilians and citizens of this nation. God bless the Republic of Uganda. I remain Menya Elsania, the organizing president of the students' body, for God and my country.